The views and opinions expressed on Analyze This are entirely those of the on air participants and do not reflect those of the station's board, management, staff, or underwriters.
And we're back here on Analyze This, and I want to thank the UVA Student Exchange folks for joining us, led by Linda Estradaran, and hopefully we'll be talking with them again sometime in the future. Now we transition to Pinktober, and we've got here in the studio Barb Michaud. Pronounce that correctly?
Actually, it's Anna Holley. I'm the director.
Oh, yeah, Anna Holley, okay.
Barb and Anik will be joining us on the phone.
I apologize. Good morning, Miss Holley.
Good morning.
Orville, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
That's good.
Happy to see another morning.
Yeah, man.
In the tropics.
Yeah, we wake up. We woke up, so we got a head start.
Yeah.
Miss Misha, are you on the line? Not yet.
I'll ask them to call in.
No. They're talking with.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Miss Holley, talk about the operations of Pinktober.
Well, I'd like to start off by saying thank you for having us. We love being on the show and being able to share our message to the community about Cancer Support VI. When Barb comes on, she'll talk a little bit about the history and the organization, but we do have a busy month. You can't walk around anywhere right now without people talking about Pinktober and what's happening, the events that are happening. We're celebrating our 12th year of Pinktober for Cancer Support VI, and we have a lot of partner events and initiatives planned throughout the month of October that we'd like to share with your listeners and let them know how they can support us as well.
Orville, you want to piggyback on that?
Yes. I want to say thank you very much to CFVI for inviting me to be on this program today to talk about specifically my experience. And I'm hoping that, at the end, at least I'll be able to encourage someone and, restore some hope in the journey.
And Ms. Misha, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Neville. How are you?
I thought you were coming over. You were on Facebook. You said you're looking forward to the commute.
I didn't. Did I say that? Did I use the word commute? Next time, Neville. Next time, had I known. All right.
No, I'm just teasing. How's everything with you?
We're just out there living the dream, Neville. We're just out there living the dream every day.
Mm-hmm. Anik, good morning.
Gratitude is our path.
Good morning, Mr. James, Neville James, and your audience, and to that awesome cancer warrior, Mr. James. Happy to be able to speak with you again today. I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. So Orville, you're a cancer survivor?
Yes.
How long now?
12 years.
For real?
2013 diagnosed, and now we're in 2025. So
I would have never known that, man.
Yeah.
Man.
A lot of people,
Yeah, man. Well, it ain't none of my business, but God is good,
Yes, He is. Quite frankly, I
pull the microphone up a little bit there. Yeah.
Quite frankly, it seems that when I disclose that, people look at me and say, "You don't look like that."
Mm-hmm. Well, we there's an immediate sense of panic.
Yeah.
We think the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so don't hold it against us. But
No.
you look perfect.
Yeah. Well, I always say, not because the letter after the C is D, that means
Right.
what follows next.
Yeah.
It's not a death sentence, basically. Yeah.
And talk about the experience without getting too technical, and talk about how this particular group, this entity, provided the support that you needed to get you back to base.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say I was diagnosed in 2013 with multiple myeloma. It's a type of plasma cell. There's several persons, even like Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw?
Yeah. He was diagnosed with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just mentioned his name because most people.
You know Tom Brokaw. He is. No, you're laughing, but he is considered to have had the greatest voice
Yes.
in all of TV. You look at him, and then when you hear that baritone, and you listen to Tom Brokaw, you know, I mean, he really was gifted in that regard. So I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So, and so you know, it all started here when I went to the doctor. He ordered a lab at the hospital. And on my way back to the office, and I got this call. It's like, hey, I said, look, I'm driving now. Let me get to it.
Yeah.
So once I got back to the office, I said, you know, you're free to talk with my brother, Devil, and his wife. They're in Atlanta. And from there, it was just, you know, I bought a one-way ticket. I went up there. They had everything planned out for me with the doctors I would see. And it was just it was a great in the sense that things were already in place. I'll never forget this one doctor. He said, I'm going to take care of you. And that was comforting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't like, oh, what we're going to do. But more so to...
This is a skin cancer?
I know it's plasma, blood.
Blood, okay.
Yes, it's
okay.
blood type.
And how long did it take from diagnosis to them deeming you cancer-free?
Well, the bottom line is that I did a stem cell.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a stem cell in January, so I have a new birth, basically.
Okay.
So from that
you're brand
time,
new.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And talk about how this local entity provided that support that you needed. I could see it in your face already.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, people don't realize the financial impact that someone has to, especially if you're going off island. Just the airplane tickets. You don't get any mercy. There's no discount on it. You know, worse if you don't have any family you could stay by, or the proximity to the hospital that you're going to go to. And you know,
were you always positive and how important positivity was getting you from when you first heard what you heard to when you realize I'm going to beat this, I'm going to lick this?
Well, strange enough, you asked that question. Thank you very much, because I remember that I was moderating a health forum, and there were 3 patients there. Well, not patients, actually, you know, persons who were cancer-free, you know, had gone through it already. And, you know, I wrote down some questions, the audience was asking questions, and then here comes my turn.
Yeah.
So those same questions I asked and the responses I got from the forum, I was able to apply to myself. Right?
Okay.
And at not one point in time did I ever question why me. I just decided, you know what, hey, I'm just going to go with a smile.
That's awesome. So, Miss Holley, good morning once again.
Good morning.
How many Orvilles do we have in the territory?
Oh, gosh. Anik, our patient advocate, has those statistics that she can share with us.
I'm just talking ballpark.
Yeah, ballpark.
Yeah.
I think we have an estimated 400 to 500 cancer patients diagnosed in the territory each year.
Is that a high number for our population?
I think that it is, of which 300 plus of those diagnosed in the territory we assist, which we're really proud of. We're trying to reach as many diagnosed cancer patients as we can. In all parts of the community, all backgrounds, because, you know, again, looking at Mr. James, like you said earlier, it doesn't look like he has cancer. Cancer doesn't care what you look like, doesn't care what your background is, doesn't care where you live, what religion you are, anything like that. You know, and that's important. That's one of the important things that Mr. James and I had a conversation with yesterday, is him being able to share his story, because we know that there's people out there listening. And if his story encourages one person in our community to pick up the phone today and call their doctor and say, it's time for me to schedule an appointment and get checked, then we've done our job.
Ms. Michaud, the cancer registry is in effect in the Virgin Islands?
Yes, the cancer. Can you hear me? The registry is in our wheelhouse. It's like the Department of Health that navigates that, but they've done an extraordinary Herculean job to collect the important data to update the registry. It hasn't been updated since 2016, but since then, I believe they're up through 2022 maybe, which is it doesn't sound like it's advanced, but, their challenges are big because you have a lot of patients that perhaps have gone off island. Are the doctors tracking cancers? So our registry is coming along. It's an amazing work in progress, I think.
And Nick, when you look at the data, our local data, what jumps out at you?
So as far as the data, I have some numbers here.
Anik, and they show we just said data within the Virgin Islands. The data.
Yeah, and I'm a local, so I got some data here.
The data. Yeah. No, I'm just having fun with that. That's one of our pet things.
I kind of thought the same thing too, Nick. Really?
That's just one of our pet things we like to say. The data. What did data say in the Virgin
What
Islands?
did data say, right?
Yeah.
I told some numbers for year to date so far. We have extended over $600,000, $618,500 in grants territory-wide, serving 223 patients. This is from January to as of last week. We have 179 of those individuals were insured, 11 uninsured, 28 are Medicaid patients, and currently insured patients can qualify for up to $2,500. If you're uninsured, no insurance at all, you get a grant of $5,000 and you qualify for up to $5,000. And if you're a Medicaid patient, up to $4,000. Of that 223 patients, 149 are from St. Thomas, 126 from St. Croix, and 9 from St. John. And we're seeing breast cancer seems to be topping that list, as well as prostate cancer for men. But we're seeing some other types like uterine and just other types of, cancers that are just coming aboard. And I'm also noticing that some of the numbers as well, age per se, the numbers are decreasing. We're seeing individuals in their 30s and their 40s that are coming forward seeking assistance for financial help.
Wow. Mr. James, I see you shaking your head like you're aware of the realities we're dealing with here with cancer in the territory.
Yes, I'm fully aware. And, it's sad to say that also that there's some who are so private about it and they're not trying to seek out help. And what I mean by help is that, it's a journey that none of us would like to be on. A friend always tells me if sickness was something that was sold, the stores will go out of business because nobody wants to get sick. And, I want to encourage people, get themselves checked, one. Don't be afraid to discuss it with someone. I mean, a friend told me last night, our body is like a dormant volcano, and something changes, it starts to erupt, really. No matter how well you may feel today, later this afternoon, things could change. So I'm hoping, and, just going back to CFVI, I mean, it's so, when I've applied, it's not that the information that they ask, I've provided, compared to some other places, it's like you got to give your whole life history, your whole this, and it's so taxing. I mean, I could understand. People are going through enough with just what's next, what are my results going to be, and so I'm really thankful for CFVI and what they've done, for the community and also for
we try to make it easy because that's the feedback that we get is. The paperwork, the piles of paperwork that you're already having to fill out. And, one thing to mention that I think is important is, you don't know, you might have to go to the States next week, and where is that money going to come from to pay for the ticket? And you can, once your application is approved through our system, right, the money is in your account the following week. It's that quick. And we work hard to make sure that happens year round.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Yes, thank you.
It's less of a stress, It's like, oh, what's going to happen next? So thanks.
Yeah. And if I may just jump in there to piggyback on what I'm saying, the criteria is very, very simple. You just need to be a resident of the Virgin Islands and have a positive diagnosis. We have an application that you fill out. It's 2 pages, very, very simple. You provide your pathology report. If you don't have that, we have a form that's called the physician verification form, where the doctor has to verify that they're seeing you, that you have cancer, you provide a copy of your insurance if you have insurance, and because we disperse the funds directly into your account, there's a ACH form that you fill out, and it's very simple. And I have to say, it's really a pleasure. When people call me, it's not a great conversation that you're having. So, like Mr. James expressed, it's seamless. Anna is saying it too. Just come in, you try to make it very simple. Some people are even calling me back at times. Hey, I see some money in my account. Is it from you guys? I didn't know it was so quick. So we really, really try to put them first, because just receiving that money, they can then therefore go forward and book a trip or pay for medication. And sometimes people are waiting to pay for that first treatment to their doctor. So we try to, expedite it and do it in love.
And Nick, don't forget that the host name Mr. James too, so it's going to be a little bit more technical this morning.
And when I saw...
I got with you this morning. I don't know why.
No problem. I have a broad background good. And I was wondering if there was any relation, because I know Neville James and then Orville James. I don't know if there was any relation.
No, he's a Gramac. He's from Dominica or something.
Right, Dominica.
He's a Gramac. He from Portsmouth or one of them tongue down there.
Well, I'm always asked, if I'm an East James or West James. So
as a East.
So I say I'm mid-island James.
No, we're good. Barb, you mentioned the Department of Public Health. The relation, because when I asked about the cancer registry, and it really, is a responsibility there. But what about the relationship with CSVI and Department of Health? How's that?
It's great. We were approached a couple of years ago by the Department of Health, where our local nonprofits that raise money for cancer, and we're not the only gig in town. We're the largest nonprofit raising funds for cancer care in the VI, but we joined forces with the Ag Foundation, which is on St. Croix, Ribbons for a Cure, which is on St. Croix, American Cancer Society out of Puerto Rico. Who am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing some, but St. John Cancer Fund, they raise funds. So with that, the Department of Health reached out to us and said, let's collaborate together and create a more unified coalition so that we can work in collaboration. We were actually just on St. Croix last week for the USVI Cancer Summit, where I believe the Department of Health was funded through the CDC to create a comprehensive cancer plan, which our team, Anik, and our previous director are a part of specific work groups. I think it's survivorship is one of them. Anik, what is it? Diagnosis and treatment. There's 4 different categories. So with this collaboration, we're seeking to bridge the gap for cancer care. To assure that we leave no cancer patient behind would be our goal. We want to assure that if someone like Mr. James comes to our office and fills out an application, that we're not the only resource in the Virgin Islands. We want that cancer warrior to be fully funded in whatever might be available, because if you go stateside, they don't have the amazing resources that we do have here in the Virgin Islands to support. We also have...
Hold on there one second. Hold on a second. I don't want you to start that segment. We're going to take a break. Come back. We're talking with Ms. Anna Holley, Mr. Orville James, Ms. Barb Michaud, and Annie Carrigan, having a Pinktober discussion as we approach Pinktober tomorrow. Be back right after this. And we're back here on Analyze This, and we're talking with CSVA, Mr. Anna Holley, Director Operations, Mr. Orville James, our grant recipient, Barb Michaud, the Director, and Anik Harrigan, Patient Advocate. Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Barb, you were talking about the relationship with health, Department of Health, and things that you're doing.
Yeah, again, working, individually. Our motto is individually we are one drop, together we're an ocean, and I think it takes a village. And, with the potential opening of the Charlotte Kimmelman Cancer Center in early 2026, it's going to be important that we're all working together for the cancer warrior. So, we are constantly expanding and building on that relational home with Department of Health.
Okay, that's good. So, Pinktober, number of events.
Oh gosh.
Throughout the month.
Oh Lord, Neville James, they're plentiful to. We're a tiny organization. This is our 12th Pinktober. It originally started on a Women of Prayer with me wanting to pay it forward at Mahogany Run. Chip in for Pink was a golf tournament. We did small things, and then we expanded it once I left there to doing it on Main Street, to the bars and the restaurants, to I'll let Anna and Anik speak to it, but we're working with the schools where we have a campaign called Give Cancer the Boot. And we'll be at Koshulash, we'll be at the market on St. Thomas, St. Croix, we'll be at Moe's, we'll be at different locations throughout the territory where every dollar that goes into that boot is eventually going to go into the hands of a cancer patient. So Anna or Anik,
last count, Neville, we had over 30 partner events throughout the month of October, and that does not include the month-long initiatives that partners have joined forces with us to support us throughout the whole month. And those month-long initiatives include Pennies for a Purpose through Cost You Less, and we've got restaurants and bars that are doing drink specials all month long. You'll see pink drink specials all month long. You'll see.
What about high school events and sports events?
Oh, yes.
Because I see on the mainland a lot of different sports.
So
we're in the pink.
This weekend, actually, Good Hope Country Day has a middle school, I think it's middle school, but a volleyball tournament. Mm-hmm. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is Pink Out Day.
Awesome.
So you'll see all the schools coming to Good Hope Country Day gym, dressed in pink. We'll be there with a boot. We'll have information out for people as well. I love the support. They did it last year. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see the girls in pink and the shirts in pink and pink bows. And we have Tillet. Anik, Tillet is doing, they have us on their calendar as well.
Tillet, you talking about A.B. Gibbs, you mean, or?
What's the school that just put us on the calendar? It just happened yesterday, I saw.
Yeah, so we have Charlotte and Molly is doing something, Ivana Udarika School, and Jane E. Tuitt.
Tuitt in St. Thomas.
That's the elementary school, and a lot of individual teachers want to participate. So we're going to definitely provide our contact number here so that they can reach out to us. But what they're doing is they might have a pink day, or they're asking for the boot. They want to do a Give Cancer the Boot drive on their school campus. And it's great because a lot of times when I am speaking to patients, they have family members, they have little kids. And this is a way to, to spread awareness and to let them know what's going on. So, yeah, definitely working with the Department of Education to see if we can contact as many schools as possible so that they can, whether it's their own creative idea where they are raising funds on behalf of the organization or just learning more about, cancer and what Cancer Support BI offers, it's great.
I got a question for Mr. James. So good morning. Mr. James, could you explain his experience in telling your family about your diagnosis and how you navigated the hard conversations?
Well, initially, it wasn't that difficult because, as I said, that my brother and sister-in-law, Adelbert and Adele, who lives in Atlanta, they knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was very careful. The only person that didn't know immediately was my parents because they were up in age,
Mm-hmm.
and so therefore I kind of waited a while, wanted to know what direction how my life was going to go. Then eventually I did mention to them, but very, very early, I mean, I shared the word that, I'm up here. In fact, my parents said, well, you've been in Atlanta for too long. So they suspected something.
Mm-hmm. How long was the Atlanta stay?
It was about 3 months.
3 months, okay.
Yeah, because I did the step
But
job.
that ain't that long.
Yeah,
Come to think of it.
Yeah, but you know what was...
But I know people get used to you being a certain place, you know what I mean? And they probably want to know what's going on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Your
Right.
parents are here or in Dominica?
No, they were up in Atlanta.
In Atlanta?
Yeah,
So you were bothering your parents. No, I'm just joking.
Well, it was a good time to spend time with them.
Yeah,
too, because
yeah,
normally
yeah.
I would just stop in,
Yeah.
visit a couple of days, and fly back out.
No. Explain. You told us about the diagnosis and all that stuff, but explain that day when you heard from the doctor, Mr. James, you're back to being whole.
I felt good.
Did you always feel that I'm going to get there?
Yes. It's very, very important. I'm going to emphasize it.
Mm-hmm.
Be positive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Be positive. Yeah, you hear stories of persons, but you're on your own course. And just be positive about it. You have a goal, and that's what it's going to be, really. And, right after I did the stem cell, in fact, I did very well in the extraction. I got so many. In fact, I still have some in the bank, in the event that I should need.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a good feeling. And, the doctor told me when he first met me, I'm going to take care of you. So that was reassuring.
Mm-hmm.
Just that in itself, it wasn't like, well, how are we going to pursue this? We're going to try this and see what happens. So it was nothing like that.
No, Anik and Barbara, excuse me, Barb, y'all have been associated with cancer research and cancer support for how long now?
I joined Cancer Support VI in 2014. Being a cancer survivor, like Mr. James, I was probably a little more. I didn't want to go ask for help, and I didn't know about the help. And someone told me about Charlene, and I walked in, and, she just, that Maya Angelou, I say it all the time till nauseum for some. It's not what you did, it's not what you said, it's how someone makes you feel, and she made me feel like it was okay that I was receiving support and help. And so from then on, and I wanted to pay it forward, and it became magic, and it turned into a job at Cancer Support VI. So I've been there since, on the payroll probably since 2016.
Okay.
And
Anik, how long you been with CSVI?
Since 2019, Charlene Kehoe, the director, prior, she was just separating, retired and doing her own thing, and was seeking someone to assist the patient, and I was available, and I just stepped into the role at that point.
What's it like when you're dealing with the opposite of the success stories with Barb and Orville, and the doctor has to deliver that bad news like there's a time certain involved here? That can't be easy.
It's not, Neville. It is not easy. That's a very deep question. I'll tell you this: we live in a very small community, and sometimes we get the news different ways. Perfect example. You remember on the phone with the patient, talking to them, getting them the assistance, and all these things. And sometimes you might be scrolling on Facebook, or somebody says, rest in peace, or whatever. You're looking at the name, and I find myself like, wait a minute, I know this name. And then you go back to your files, and it's like, whoa, it hits hard.
So you're saying there are times when you're dealing with patients, and because they have gotten that particular medical diagnosis, they stop communicating with you, and then you find out after the fact that they have gone?
No, I should have been clear. No. Sometimes, no. I'm just saying sometimes how I receive that information. Sometimes you're dealing with so many patients, you get the negative news, and sometimes they come and is that, they're not going to get better. There's nothing else the doctor can do. And sometimes you have to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, some folks don't want to come out. And it's an emotional experience, but you're there as a patient advocate to support them. And you try to get them with support groups or ask them if they have support with family members, etc. And some individuals have found, Mr. James, that sometimes when they get the news, their way of accepting it is just doing nothing. I cannot force a patient to give me the information to fill out an application. I can't force them. I can provide them with everything. And some people are just so shocked or so stunned, and they're like, they've accepted that they're dying, but they don't reach out for the funds. And then sometimes when you talk about the bad news, sometimes the bad news is seeing that this person you dealt with 6 months ago, 2 months ago, last year is no longer here. So it's a lot. It's traumatic. But you work your way with it because there's so many positive stories. You have like Mr. James on the radio, and that they're positive. And some folks come in, and I love that you asked him about his attitude, because a lot of folks come in and they're like, I'm going to fight this, and you feel encouraged and you walk with them on that journey. But sometimes it's difficult when you have lost someone, and sometimes it's difficult when you want to fill out the paper for them because it's like they can't move. So it's challenging at times.
No, I'm doing the math here in my head, Miss Holley, and you mentioned 400 to 500. That was the number you mentioned.
That's our estimate, correct?
Estimate, right? And we're a population of 90,000, so that's like what, 1 out of every 200 Virgin Islanders or thereabouts? No, or 20? 1 every 20. No, it's 1 out of every 200, right? Yeah. Because if it was 1,000. For 90,000, it would be 1 out of 90, right? Correct. 1 out of every 90.
Correct.
So we're cutting that in half. So even though those numbers might be less than 1%, we should still be encouraging folks to get tested.
Absolutely.
And check themselves out.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I think listening to Mr. James' story, it always resonates because treatment is so, even though we don't have all the treatment here in the Virgin Islands and people do have to travel, the sooner you get tested, the sooner something can be detected, the sooner you can get treated, and we know that saves lives. It's not a death sentence anymore. So many cancers are treatable, but studies show that the earlier you get detected, the better chance you have of surviving.
No, about...
If I may just jump in.
No, go ahead.
With Anna, just to piggyback off of what she said, sometimes we encounter people who are uninsured or their documents aren't in order. And I just want to say we have been partnering or communicating with Medicaid, Department of Human Services, to understand how that program works. And I just want folks over the radio waves to hear that you don't have to be insured, you don't have to be whatever. Like Anna said, you come early. There's the family planning program through Department of Health. They have programs there, the breast and cervical program for uninsured individuals. Medicaid, if that's your primary insurance, they are also going to assist you, throughout the process to get your treatment and get off the island. So there are opportunities. I think people just don't know what they don't know. So like Anna said and others are saying, get tested, go to the doctor, get checked, because there are resources on island that can help you, whether you're insured or you're a Medicaid patient or even if you're uninsured.
No, where I wanted to go was somewhat political, but it had to do with structure in the Virgin Islands. About, I'd say 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we had made a commitment to focus on cardiology here on St. Croix and cancer on St. Thomas. I thought that was just a brilliant, when you look at it, right? Because, and then the cancer, would be cancer research or cancer commitment would be a satellite thing on St. Croix, and the cardiology would be a satellite thing on St. Thomas, right? And I thought that was sound. Half our population lives
to be
in
able to serve the population.
Serve the population.
Yeah.
Half lives in St. Thomas, St. John. Half lives on St. Croix, right? But it really hasn't panned out like how we wanted it to. And what we need are voices of institutional knowledge, like yourself, to actually put on the record why it's so critical that we have these resources. We're hearing horror stories now with respect to hospitals where folks can't get the kind of treatment, and this isn't just cancer and cardiology, this is just everything, right? So we need, entities like CSVI. When I say we, I mean the Virgin Islands. We need entities like CSVI to be out there articulating,
advocating,
why it's so
Right.
important
Hey,
for the
Neville,
healthcare
it's
profession.
Barbara. Neville, I want to make sure that you know that with our collaboration with the Department of Health and with the other nonprofits, we are very outspoken in the community. We reached out to, as a coalition, reached out to Senator Fonseca. We met with him. He was wonderful to meet with in regards to sharing our information and being able to, the hospitals, yes, we hear that every day. They also provide services and treatment, and they're both still functioning hospitals with great challenges. But with the Cancer Center coming up, it's going to require funding. And where is that funding going to come from? So we're not playing with the government. We're just sort of putting the energy out there. Where are the resources in the universe? It's no different than Cancer Support VI seeking support so that we can continue to support these cancer warriors. As we live in a tiny community, like you said, of under 90,000 people, we have over 300 nonprofits in the territory doing extraordinary work. But that's a lot of nonprofits that are going after the private sector for support and donation. So we do yield to the government for where that support is going to come from. So we are pretty outspoken, thankfully.
No, we're good. We're glad to hear that. But I'm just giving you credit because you have this institutional knowledge. The government might want to lean on you and provide that support to continue to advocate for not just cancer and cardiology and all that stuff, but
Agreed.
for healthcare in general. Because
healthcare in general.
What we're dealing with here, we're ideal. Yeah, we're good. We'll take a break. We're going to take a break. Our final break. We're going to continue the conversation with Ms. Holley, Mr. James, Ms. Michaud, and Ms. Harris. Pinktober. And we're back here. Analyze this. It is Pinktober, effective tomorrow, and we gotta reintroduce Miss Anna Holley to the conversation. The website for those who may be listening and want to go to the website and get what more information they could get.
CancerSupportVI.org. You'll find a list of all of the events that are taking place during Pinktober. Something that we haven't talked about yet today, but we're super proud to launch a women's health hub on the website, specifically geared towards women's health issues where they can get screened, providers, mammogram services throughout the month. Different organizations and providers offer a little assistance throughout the month of October. American Cancer Society offers I think a voucher, but that's all going to be on our website. There'll be a women's health hub. In addition to, being able to reach out to Anique for support groups, whether they're virtual or in person. One of the events that we actually have here on St. Croix mid-October is a post-mastectomy yoga class, a lecture and then a yoga class. That I'm really excited about. I don't think something like that's been done on St. Croix before. There's lots of challenges that come post-mastectomy, and we don't have the services. We're getting the services on island for the patients who need that.
Now, in years past, a couple of years past, I believe since the pandemic, Relay for Life was an October deal. What that took place already this year?
That's correct.
2025, right? That was happened in May or June?
I think it happened
I think it was June.
June.
Yeah.
June, I think it was. May or June.
We participated in that.
Yeah, it used to be a May event, an annual May event back in the day, but so now we're back to some normalcy there as well. Mr. James, is there any other detail about your experience or anything you want to convey to the public? Because you're a success story.
Well, the key thing is that help is there. One, seek it, go after it. It'd be nice to have some support groups, really, where you can meet at some frequency. That helps. Nothing feels.
But you're different though, because you're an active member in our community, right? I'm serious. I think you're part of the Caribbean Museum Center for the Arts, right? You're on the board. You were once on the board at one time, right? At least
President,
yeah. You're still there?
No.
Okay. Well, no, but everything got time. So,
Right.
and then I've seen you in other entities.
VIPs.
Yeah, VIPs. So keeping active is a good thing.
Yes, it's very, very important. And I believe that's what has really helped me.
Yeah.
Because, instead of being home watching TV or, social media, you're out in the community, giving back to the community, assisting, volunteering, because all this is volunteer. I don't get paid for that. So my mind
Well,
has
you do
been
get paid. You do get paid.
Well, in what respect?
It does. All payment don't have to be financial.
Sure.
Follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Seeing someone being successful because you assisted them or you were there for them in a support role.
I agree.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes,
So that's good. So Barb, as a cancer survivor yourself, what's the biggest needs for the Virgin Islands right now? If I got donor, if I got a listener to my show and they have means and they would have called and said, Miss Michaud, I heard you analyze this. I have X amount of money. Is there any research facility, or can we start a research facility here in the Virgin Islands? Because the politics being what it is on the mainland, and depending on what state you're in, you could be a target, you could be supported. When in reality, when it comes to healthcare, all of that should be kicked to the curb, kicked to the side. What's the biggest needs right now here in the Virgin Islands?
I could be dead wrong, which I am often. I don't know that it's research in the Virgin Islands as much as it is education and prevention. That would be the biggest, because
That's part of research.
Yeah, it's part of research, but I think it's being able to, for the Virgin Islands, oftentimes research would indicate trials or other offerings at big pharmaceutical things that would help not cure cancer, but so for the Virgin Islands, I think, and someone made a note and texted me this morning, it's really kind of our responsibility as Virgin Islanders to get tested. Not every cancer diagnosed is hereditary. Do you know what I mean? I had no history of breast cancer in my family when I was diagnosed. So I think it's really important that, and I think that we're building towards that. Some of these organizations, including the Yvonne Galabert YAG Foundation, they were gifted a grant where next spring they will be doing a breast and I think it's a breast and prostate, is it breast and prostate, correct me ladies if I'm wrong, conference, which will be amazing. So I think that there's more things that are coming, partially because we're working on this, unified coalition where because we're on the ground every single day working with the Cancer Warrior, we see the need for what it is. And I would say, and I don't know, Anik, who has direct contact with, our cancer patients every day, you would agree.
Absolutely. That, as well as a fully functioning state-of-the-art cancer facility where folks can feel at home, they can be supported. They don't necessarily have to be going off island for treatment. It's a great opportunity for, tourism. Just so many different opportunities. But that's the plea that I'm hearing. I have to get off island. Or, and we know that folks do better when they're home and they're not trying to maintain, places off island and then still trying to maintain their home. So that will be awesome. A fully fledged state-of-the-art facility with experienced doctors and equipment, and where every patient, insured, uninsured, Medicaid, everything is accepted, received, and folks can definitely be on the journey to health.
The community, during the pandemic, I remember when they were applying all these formulas about how many people are going to die and all that stuff, and so they applied this mainland formula to the Virgin Islands, but they didn't know that half the population does not live with the other half of the population because of St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John being separated, right? We could laugh about it, right? Because that turned out to be a good thing, right? But that uniqueness aspect of it, that's why the data, right? Good morning, Anik, right? The data is so critical, right? Because it's not a one-size-fit-all thing, right? And we got a unique situation here. And I'm a researcher, that's my thing, so anytime I like reading and studying, sociology, all that stuff. So that to me is why it's important that we compile the data, right? And we study the data, right? So that we can apply the findings of the data appropriately, so I want that part of it, So Barb, when I was talking about research, that's what I was thinking about, right?
Gotcha.
Anna, you want to say something?
I was going to say, Anika and I have this conversation a lot. Anika's she deals directly with the patients on a daily basis, and what she hears from the patients that she speaks with daily, we use that information to improve our services.
That's exactly
what we're doing with that data. And I agree with Barb 100%. Education right now, whether it's in the schools, whether it's reaching underserved populations, non-English speaking populations, Spanish speaking populations, French and patois speaking populations here in the territory. We're working to get deeper into the communities to reach more people, because we know that there's people sitting silent just because they don't know. And like Anik said, you don't know what you don't know. So we're trying to get the information, and being on your show like this helps get the information out there.
So Orville, feeling good?
Yes, man, I'm feeling really good, man.
The education that we're talking about, how do we take that to the next level, in your opinion?
Well, certainly, like even this session right now. I'm sure you have your listeners and you have your viewers all over. And I'm hoping that they too can pass on that information if they have someone in Virgin Islands. You know, let them know that help is available. You know, and not just making sure that they know, but there's so many events going on this month, especially. You've noticed I have my pink already.
That's good. And your shirt. Yeah, man. Yeah, looking good.
A month, a day in advance.
Right.
You know, it is, and it's so important that, you know, people stay informed.
But I think people are being more open now about diagnosis.
Yeah.
You know, compared to years ago when everybody kept things to themselves. Right?
You're right. Because I remember a friend telling me, you know, that I have what you had, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I said, you know, sadly she didn't survive, but the fact is that, you know, I mean, it's not something to brag or talk about, you know, because you just do not know at the end of the day what might transpire in one's life. You know, it may not necessarily be a health issue, but it could be something else.
Yeah. Well, I want to commend CSVA for what you're doing. It's critical. Nonprofits, I could only harken back to something that we tried 10 years ago and we got beat up for it. I keep bringing it up because I never understood why people thought supporting nonprofits was like a slush fund thing. You know, the paranoia exists. You know, but it is what it is. And but I know, having been a public servant and working in government, Department of Education, and then the legislature, that the government simply can't do everything. That's just a factual statement, right? And nonprofits fill so many voids, so many cracks, right? So we need to support the CSVIs of the world and the other nonprofits. Not that they don't have a responsibility to manage monies that are made available for them correctly. We're not saying that, but we're just saying that they have some institutional knowledge that the government does not have. And I just want to commend CSVI for all that you do. Big events this week, Ms. Holley?
Oh, gosh. Well, our huge kickoff party Friday night in St. Thomas at Tapas. It's our Get Pinked party. We have drink specials. We have food. We have steel pans, mocha jumbies, DJs, Cash and Cypher. We have games. We have beer pong, cornhole, a couple of other fun games that you can register on our website to get signed up ahead of time. It's just last year's party was so much fun. We're looking to do it bigger and better this year. Tapas treats us great. We're super thankful for their support and giving us the first Friday of October to kick off our Pinktober events throughout the month. It's a lot of fun.
And you said Country Day, Good Hope?
The volleyball tournament. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
And Neville, I just have to give a good plug to the VIPD this year. Thanks to Officer Harvey and the chief, they are doing what they call the Pink Patch project. So all of the pink patches that are sold throughout the territory, the proceeds will go to Cancer Support VI. So you will see a lot of the cruisers that are wrapped in pink. We will have some of the cars that will be wrapped with the information for Cancer Support VI. So we're deeply grateful by the outpouring of support throughout the territory.
Good. Any closing remarks?
Hi, I'm here. Just want to say that we're available. Don't hesitate to call. I always want to put my number on the line, 340-514-8647, or just reach out to me via email at Anique, ANIQUE, .Harrigan, HARRIGAN, at cancersupportvi.com. Many times when people are talking in public, folks, they retreat. But sometimes when they're by themselves, they feel comfortable to call. All of the information is also on the website. Thank you so much for the time.
Orville?
Just one thing I want to mention is that it's great that employees can get donated leave. Because a lot of times, and it's semi-autonomous to government. Before at one time, it was just semi-autonomous. You couldn't donate to another government agency. But now you can, because you may have a friend, you may have a family. So that's a ease in itself. In closing, I just want to say, enjoy life in spite of the aches and pains. Stay active, walk, dance, swim, and hike, because that's what life is about.
Good. Miss Holley?
I just want to encourage everyone, when you see Pink this month, come out and support. There's a lot of organizations raising money this month, and we want you to support everyone. We try to provide the cancer warrior in the territory with the information they need. You'll see a bunch of things. That's one way you can support us, is attending the events, buying the drinks, buying the burgers, going to the classes, supporting the volleyball games, and stay in touch with our calendar. That's where we'll be listing all of our events.
It begins tonight at 12 o'clock. Pinktober.
12 o'clock.
Right? Anna Holley, Orville James, Barb Michaud, and Annie Carrigan, thank you very much for joining us on Analyze This today.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
congratulations. We appreciate what you do for the people of the
We
Virgin Islands.
appreciate you. Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you so
Orville,
much.
good to see you, man.
Yep, likewise.
Annie, thank you.
All right.
Okay. Be good. Be safe, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.
The views and opinions expressed on Analyze This are entirely those of the on-air participants and do not reflect those of the station's board, management, staff, or underwriters.